In this video, we are putting modern Pokemon booster boxes cases against older era booster boxes that cost nearly the same. The question for you is, will you rather own 6 boxes of a newer set or put that same exact money into a more established and older set? We have 5 matchups today, and after reviewing the prices, movement, sales volume, liquidity, and overall risk, I'll reveal which product I would definitely buy. All of this data comes from TCGplayer. This is available. You can search it. Our first matchup is going to be Destined Rivals cases versus Evolving Skies booster box. Here we have the price for Destined Rivals cases. They've been crashing. And I know everyone could use a different terminology for crash, right? Stocks market could be 20%, right? Doesn't matter. So the last time I pulled this data, which is August 27th, look into this chart, right? It was very stable until the announced reprints. Our word, we've had roughly 71 units sell in the last 3 months, right? Liquidity is super strong. Now we have a decision to make. Do we go with the goated Team Rocket, or do we think that Evolving Skies will outperform Destined Rivals? On the other side, we have Evolving Skies booster box. It's going for $24.74, right? Roughly, literally, almost the same price. Now, the price could vary from where we put the data. We are using TCGplayer. It is down 8% on 90 days, which is fine. Liquidity is strong, and we have 40 sellers, right? We've had 43 units sell, which for a item of this price, that is very strong. The chart was flat around 2,700, and then it has just kind of been on a downtrend ever since June 18th, right? Seems like the chart's going down. It is starting to now finally find some foot in here at around 2,400, and it seems to be kind of trying to bounce at 2,400. The big thing is, and the big question you have to ask yourself, will you rather have 6 booster boxes cases of Destined Rivals or Evolving Skies booster boxes? I'll show you my pick. So my purchase decision will be Destined Rivals, right? And as we can see, the price is fairly similar. However, Destined Rivals is down 32%. It's Team Rocket. I know Evolving Skies is goated and, you know, it has the evolutions and all that stuff, but this right now, Destined Rivals is such a strong buy that I believe that, hey, do you see Evolving Skies going to $5,000 first, or do you simply see Destined Rivals going to $800? I will have to put my money on Destined Rivals reaching $800 first. This is my pick. For our next matchup, we're going to put in Obsidian Flame cases versus an XY Evolutions box. So we can see Obsidian Flames is just moving along. There's only 4 sales in the last 90 days, which is very big yikes. Right? Liquidity is very thin. There are currently 17 sellers, and this is the problem when it comes to certain prices, right? Like over $2,000, it is actually very difficult to find liquidity for these items if the product is not on high demand, right? So this is always my word of caution. You got to be careful where you're putting your money in, because it may be difficult to sell, and or it may just take time to sell, right? So in this case, Obsidian Flames is just one of those items. Now, it has a Charizard. The problem here is it is a very small set. The cards are easy to pull. And just overall, like, I just don't think people really like Obsidian Flames that much, given that now we have Phantasmal Flames. Next, we have XY Evolutions booster box, which seems to be doing almost the same, right? It's just moving along. Seems to be fairly flat during the last 2 months. However, we've had 25 units sold, which is a really decent amount over the case of Obsidian Flames, right? 25 versus 4. Liquidity is very strong, and we currently have 14 sellers. My pick for Obsidian Flames versus XY Evolution, I will have to go with the booster box. There are XY Evolution is just one of those sets. It was very goated. Has the starters and as a mega, right? You can't go wrong with that. As we can see, the price is pretty even, almost 2,400. This was 25. The sales is what do it for me, right? Liquidity. If I want to be able to move out of an item, I want to know that there will be buyers on the other side, and that is my main reason for choosing this. Next, we have Paldea Evolve Booster Box Case versus Unified Mind Booster Box. Paldea Evolve is such an amazing set, right? It has the magic card among other awesome illustration rares. It seems to be very steady right now, right? We've had 5 units sold during the last 3-month sale, which is fairly thin, to be honest. It's only 24 sellers, and the price just seems to be very stagnant. On the other hand, Unified Mind has been steadily just growing, right? Seems to be finding some type of ceiling up here at 3K. Liquidity is very thin at this price. However, it's up 15% on the last 90 days. Both of these items are struggling with liquidity, right? So I think this is going to be one of those cases in which you have to go with the value or item that is cheaper. And my choice is going to have to be Paldea Evolve Booster Box Cases, only because if I wanted to move out of this item, all I had to do is crack open the case, right? If liquidity is not there, just sell the item individually. In which, you know, on the other side, I will have to literally wait for someone willing to pay $3,000. So price matters here for sure. I would definitely go Paldea Evolve Case, and I also think it has more potential. So the next matchup is going to be Surgeon Sparks Booster Box Case versus Vivid Voltage Booster Boxes. Now, the reason for the single loose booster boxes is given that there wasn't that many sales for the cases, right? Liquidity is super thin, so I chose the sits loose. We're going to start with Surgeon Sparks. Current market price is 2,100, right? That's fine. And 14 units I've sold in the last 90 days, right? 3 months. It was around $2,000 back in May 30th. I remember this sitting somewhere between 1,800s for a while. Hopefully there's not too much reprints coming in for Surgeon Sparks, right? Because it's been getting hammered the last couple of months and seems to be kind of finding its own here. Has some really decent SARs, right? Like the Latias, Pikachu, Melodic, and I think it's a really decent set. Next, we have the 6 Vivid Voltage Booster Boxes. These were somewhere in 1,800s. They went the whole entire summer, right? Kind of went up a little bit, and then they seem to be dropping again. However, there's 87 sales during the last 90 days, so roughly almost one a day. Liquidity is very strong, and there's also a lot of sellers, right? So this is just one of those in which you have to really think about whether you want to get out of the item really fast. For some reason, Vivid Voltage loose booster boxes sell like hotcakes, right? Everyone wants them. So my pick here is going to have to be Surgeon Sparks Booster Box Case. It is sitting at 2,100. I think that is a decent price. It is the better set, regardless of what everyone says. Sales are fine, right? For a 2,100 item, you can always crack open this case if you really need to. I think it has the better potential in the future to grow than Vivid Voltage. Our last showdown of the day is gonna have to be Paradox Rift Case versus Battle Styles Case. Paradox Rift was one of those items that nobody wanted. In fact, as of right now, people do not really like the Paradox Pokemons. It does have the Groudon going for it, Altaria, right, for whatever that means. It has Goldengo. So I think Paradox Rift is very underrated when it comes to illustration rares. Has a lot of nice looking artworks. If I had to compare with a Sword and Shield set, I would definitely say it is similar to Chilling Reign with all the illustration rares and artwork and all that stuff. It is similar price right now to Battle Styles, which is why I'm comparing them. The chart is not doing much. Liquidity is fine here. At 1,800, it's not really a bad price for this. On the other hand, we have Battle Styles, right? This is actually cheaper than Paradox Rift. It is sitting somewhere between 1,700, right? And 1,760. Liquidity is very thin, and there are about 11 sellers when it comes to the cases. Battle Styles as a set is just it only has the Tyranitar, right? Sleepy Tyranitar, but just overall it's just one of those sets, right, that people don't really like. My decision has to be Paradox Rift Case. You have to go with Paradox Rift. I think it has more potential than battle styles at this point. It has the Groudon, right? It's an amazing illustration rare. Among other Paradox Pokemons, right? You just never know if they may eventually take off. On the other hand, battle styles will have to get carried by Sleepy Titar. Not saying it can't, but I will definitely have to go with liquidity as well, right? Only because Paradox Rift sells a little more. It's a newer set. Maybe people might be looking for it. And with that being said, that is the last showdown for today's video. If you like this type of content, give it a like, comment, subscribe. Let me hear you in the comments. What are your picks? Which one of these picks will you go the opposite of? Would definitely like to hear your thoughts. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.